My name is Meg Williams, and I'm the Program Manager and Alumni Engagement Officer in the Office of Personal and Professional Development here in Santa Fe. Thank you for joining us for Johnnie Talks. Our talks are intended to follow the Pecha Kucha format of about 20 seconds per slide for a total of about 7 minutes. I'm pleased to introduce you to our speaker as they talk about what perseverance means to them. But before I begin, I'd like to remind everyone, alumni and students alike, that our office, along with our partners in career services in Annapolis, are always here to help you at any stage of your career or professional life. Whether it's finding a new job or changing your direction, tuning up your resume, or practicing a job interview, we are here to partner with you and provide you with the tools and support you need. So please don't hesitate to email or call. And now, on with our presentation. Enjoy. Kristen Caven matriculated to Santa Fe in 1982. And although she earned her degree from another institution, she finds her passion for St. John's and her fellow classmates persists. Her writing has resulted in several publications on positive psychology and explores concepts like grit, perseverance, and resilience. Kristen also communicates her personal philosophy through the flair of her drawing pen by creating comics about international friends. Kristen's work exemplifies how Johnnie creativity can be expressed through art, poetry, and meditation. Enjoy.
What did Albert Einstein do when he got a peppermint stuck up his nose? He worked it out with a pencil. Sorry about that. Here are my 20 slides. My name is Kristen Caven, and I am a liberal artist. Liberal as in abundant, liberal as in free thinking, and liberal as in relating to books. Sound familiar? This presentation is about how I've worked out some big ideas through my liberally artistic process, and how my habit of doodling helped me face some difficult challenges. Challenges build character, or in my case, a cast of characters. And when they help you find your strengths, well, they call that grit. As a freshman at St. John's, I quickly found the people to sit next to in tutorials and seminars who could double task with silent comedic commentary in the margins of my notebooks. Some of my doodles were as illuminating as the conversations. In lab, I drew cartoons about eggs and sperms. At St. John's, it kind of blows your mind to feel the wholeness of knowledge, how everything is connected to everything else. Well, I connected science to social science and turned a sperm into a paper doll with masculine outfits. Those Xeroxes for my friends were my first publication, which years later became a bestseller in the underground zine market. My sophomore lab tutor, Jack Lincoln, who also taught me Tai Chi, recognized my talent and indulged my idea of explaining the history of the atomic theory as a cartoon narrative. I was starting to find my voice. Sadly, I couldn't stay at St. John's past the first semester of my junior year. I wasn't finished. I still had much to unravel emotionally and intellectually. I needed to learn more about wisdom and authentic self-expression. After a year in art school, I landed at Mills, a historic women's college on the West Coast. Missing my kind and funny male classmates, I tried to finish what I started, studying philosophy, history, and literature. They needed a cartoonist for their weekly newspaper, and there I developed my skills at crystallizing concepts in pen and ink. Years later, I would collect them and more into a memoir, perfectly revolting. When the time came for me to do my senior project, another awesome teacher encouraged me to fully surrender to my muses. My apartment turned into an explosion of paper. I juggled pencils, erasers, pens, whiteout, rubber cement, Xerox reductions, X-Acto knives, and sticky pre-printed plastic Zipatone backgrounds to get the story out straight. My masterpiece was a 31-page comic book in which Johnnie-like intellectual curiosity challenges ossified cultural dualism through the philosophical wanderings of a young woman leaving home and then leaving a college to seek her own mind. In this opus, I made one of my most regrettable artistic blunders. When I drew a traditional philosophy professor mansplaining all over a St. John's-like setting, where respectful inquiry is actually the norm. Only a Johnnie will understand this profound mistake, but, on the other hand, a Johnnie will best understand this whole work. In the story's first turning point, the protagonist, a gal named Nettie, who looks something like me, has an epiphany that the generic masculine pretends to but does not actually include women. This existential crisis sets her on a journey, which was inspired by my own bout with depression and loneliness in my junior year. In this autobiofictionalography, to quote the great Linda Berry, the castle-like image of an ivory tower represents the citadel of reason, an epithet coined by Christa Wolf, an East German writer I studied at Mills. It represents the men's club of academic thinking that puts and keeps women on the outside. After Mills, I learned computer graphics and began writing books. These images represent my first full manuscript, which still sits in a drawer. It's a resilience guide for teenagers called I'm Rubber, You're Glue, which teaches positive psychology skills for bouncing back when things get tough, getting over hurdles that are too high, and keeping your metaphorical pot of grits from boiling over. We will need to use all of our resilience skills to cope with our planetary crisis. I tried to syndicate an environmental strip called Planet of Slow Learners, but I drew too slowly and went broke trying. I am so sorry, you guys. We are all now facing certain doom because I had to get a real job. This one is as crucial now, though, as it was 30 years ago. We will not be able to limit global warming to the 2-degree goal in time to save ourselves unless we work every possible angle. It's time to move on from meatless Mondays to feedlot Fridays, eating only one meat meal per week. Animal agriculture has got to go. Oh, another thing I did at Mills was invent Emily Egg. I stopped drawing the generic male. I learned how to do a great book launch. Cartoons were the fuse that led to the bomb of my theatrical, literary, and lyrical writing. Over the next 2 decades, I found many opportunities to perform, write, and direct films, shows, and themed events. Fast forward to 2020, when I returned once more to the cartoon element for my great COVID creation. I'd intended to stage a play at the local Oktoberfest called The Dirndl Diaspora. We couldn't perform it live, so why not have some fun in our Zoom reading? This time, the process of doodle, cut, and paste involved the software and internet images to create a storyboard. In 6 sleepless weeks before the premiere, with the help of a talented cast and crew, we pushed the boundaries of animation and imagination to explore some new ideas about inclusion and belonging. This full-length animated feature is about women with diverse backgrounds philosophizing about their shared German culture. And drinking beers, of course. In the play, characters have traditional Bavarian dresses made in ethnic print fabrics to reflect their unique heritages. I returned to the paper doll concept I was first drawn to in biology class, this time using a croquis, French word for what you call the graphic mannequin on which a designer sketches clothing. The Neighborhood Association delivered food from German restaurants and cases of local beers. Thus was born the first ever virtual Oktoberfest celebration, and I had hundreds of viewers from around town and around the world. The next day, I hosted a virtual fashion show and the first ever Dirndl Diversity Contest, which I'd like to become a worldwide phenomenon. Because there's truth in diversity, beauty in our shared stories, and strength in having authentic conversations. So when I first left St. John's in the middle of the program, I beat myself up for what felt like giving up. But sometimes persistence isn't about finishing what you started. It's about following your heart through the uncertainties. I had no idea my marginal doodles would lead to mainstream, hopefully, knock wood, cultural contributions. But the motto of my writers club is sail on and on and on and on.
So I owe it all to perseverance and to the encouragement of my readers. Thank you for being one of them.